line 152, in this blank, you put X instead of Y. And it's like, okay, right? Those people just drive me crazy.
I can't deal with this. Like, as someone who's very matter of fact, if someone comes in imposing a lot of drama on the transaction, I will lose it. I will probably not be very pleasant to work with because I just don't like it.
It's such a pain to like go through each and make sure everything's filled out and then get the signatures. And look, that's fine. You can be a great agent and still be a non-compliance or non-detail person, but partner with someone who is. Get a TC that can help you with that stuff, even if it's a new agent, right? The more you treat them as an equal, the further you're going to get. Your job is to sell the house for your clients, not to prove to everybody that you're a big deal.
Right.
Okay. All right, let's talk about the worst types of agents. And this probably is another venting episode where I'm going to talk about agents that are really annoying for different reasons. And listen, you're probably somewhere on this list. If you're listening to this, you're one of these, right? Maybe not to the extreme, but it's something that you can work on. So there's a lesson for each of these archetypes that we're going to go through. So let's get started. Okay, so the first is the compliance Nazi, right? Now, I've seen this to where like somebody is like reviews new listings as they come on the market every day and like clicks on, like flags them for the MLS. There's some people that are that high on the spectrum on compliance, but really what this is addressing is the compliance Nazis that are just harping on tiny little paperwork things, like on, line 152 in this blank, you put X instead of Y. And it's like, okay, right. Those people just drive me crazy.
I had one recently that got all hung up that, when you digitally sign something, it also has the date on it.
Yeah.
So that takes the place of the date field.
Sure.
That's beside it. She would not accept that has a date there and it doesn't apply to the date field.
Exactly. It's
I was
fine.
like, oh my
So she
God.
wanted you to put the date field in there?
Yeah.
It's like, look, it's got electronic signatures, a timestamp. That counts.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Didn't count for her.
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, if you're that type of person, and like I understand about getting paperwork right, but people are human beings. And a lot of times these offers are getting rushed based on timeframes that have been given to them by their clients, or trying to get an offer in. And I don't like messy paperwork, but give people a little bit of grace on this. Allow them to, or work with them to get the mistake corrected. So if somebody, for instance, I had one recently where the agent submitted it to me and they put the acceptance time on the offer, or acceptance date on the offer. They meant to put the next day and they actually put today. And I was like, well, you're submitting the offer past the acceptance time.
Right.
And so I just said, hey, I'm sure you probably meant this. And she goes, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this. That's not a problem. I said, I just want to make sure, all that was correct and it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
So just give people a little grace. Be human, be humble. And but the other side of the spectrum is our number 2, which is the hot mess. Right. And that's someone who is like submits it and it's got partial paperwork, missing signatures. They're always saying like, oh yeah, I'll get that to you later.
Never do.
And that also is a huge red flag in terms of, especially when an offer is submitted. Because if I'm getting an offer and it's just a complete mess and we don't have it completed, there's not enough signatures, and they're telling me they're going to get things to me later, and the pre-approval is not included, and like all of those things.
Yeah.
That is an indicator to me of how the transaction is going to go.
Which is not good.
Right.
I had a recent one on this one too, where our offer was chosen. I told this story in Six Figure School. Our offer was actually chosen because we were one of the few that followed the offer instructions and included everything. Yeah. It was kind of a unique one because the property was being sold to a third party before it went to the clients because it was a relocation thing. And so there was a lot of extra paperwork involved. And because we were the only one that filled it out per the offer instructions, that's the one they chose. Yeah. And so being thorough is important. You can go too far with it with the compliance one we just talked about, but you have to have complete paperwork because you don't want to leave anybody out because you didn't fill something out properly, or mess up a transaction because you didn't fill it out properly.
If you are that hot mess agent, which by the way, I might put myself in this category where I do not like detail stuff. It's always just like, it's such a pain to like go through each and make sure everything's filled out and then get the signatures. And look, that's fine. You can be a great agent and still be a non-compliance or non-detail person, but partner with someone who is. Get a TC that can help you with that stuff.
I was going to say, you just stopped doing paperwork because you're so terrible at it.
I am terrible. I just don't. It's just that I hate it, but I don't do it.
Yeah.
And so that's right. So it's like we submitted an offer on a property yesterday. Well, my daughter is an agent and she likes to do paperwork. And so I just have her do all that paperwork for me and then I pay her for it.
Yeah.
So that's just going to go, just partner with someone who is a paperwork person. So hire a TC, partner with a real estate agent that can help you. Okay. All right. Number 3, the talker. This is the agent that you get them on the phone. You're not getting off in under 15 minutes. They're repeating themselves over and over again. They go down a bunch of rabbit trails. And look, we're all busy here. I understand, like, I do want to get to know you as a person. It's important to be likable, but don't wear people out. Right. And I had an agent that I just finished a transaction with, and she just, every time we got on the phone, it was 15 minutes. And, it was just like wearing me out. And also, when she was trying to make a point, she would repeat that point over and over and over and over again. And I said, I know, you already said that. Like, it got
it's
to
not going to make it true.
It's not going
to make me agree with you.
If you keep repeating yourself over and over again, that's not going to make me agree with you. So yeah,
I can't imagine being on the phone 15 minutes. I'm not on the phone with 15 minutes with anyone.
Oh, I mean, I would be like, God, how long are we? And it would be like 18 minutes. I'm like, good night. And we're just talking about offer terms.
Yeah, no.
And so it's ridiculous. So look, if you are that person and you the talker, you probably know it. Okay. Just stay concise, be respectful of everybody's time and just acknowledge it's like you can get your point across without having to repeat it over and over and over again. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, all of these are going to require some amount of self-awareness. Okay. Number 4 archetype, the ghost. So this is the person who limited or no communication. If you're an agent on the other side of it, you feel like you're doing their job for them, which is super frustrating because they're just out of pocket all the time and you're trying to get this deal across the finish line. Super hard to get a hold of. And if you're this agent and you don't like communication, you probably know you're not good at it.
Yeah.
Right. You probably know you're ghosting people. You probably, and I don't understand that because communication is so important, but you've got to establish standards of communication for yourself and establish standards of communication for the people you're communicating with. It would be much better if you told me, hey, from 8 to 5, I work a full-time job. And so it's very hard to get a hold of me at that time. But if you send me a text, I'll call you back between 5 and 7.
Yeah.
That's going to be much better than just not talking to me.
This one and the next one are the ones that annoy me the most because coming from like a corporate background, right? You expect thorough communication.
Yeah.
And if you're getting ghosted, and this is an important transaction, like a lot of things are at stake and you need to be in the loop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like you're the person that when you did a group project in school, you're the person who did nothing and took the credit.
Yeah.
Right?
Just showed up at the end and got the grade.
Exactly. So don't be that agent. Establish the standards of communication for yourself and for others. Do you want to take this next one since you?
Yeah. Drama king or queen, I can't deal with this. Like as someone who's very matter of fact, if someone comes in imposing a lot of drama on the transaction, I will lose it. Mm-hmm. And I will probably not be very pleasant to work with because I just don't like it. Like I don't like manufactured drama.
Yeah. I'm the same way. And I think I would agree with you that I'm going to push back at some point just to establish a boundary.
Yeah.
Where it's like, hey, look, you're not going to push me with this drama.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to shut you down. We're probably going to get into an argument. just so that I can establish like, okay, this is as far as you can push me, but I'm not just going to take this.
I'm a very solution oriented person, so I can't deal with the world's on fire, and there's nothing we can do about it kind of attitude.
Yeah, it manifests typically in like anger, somebody with a temper, or anxiety, or a high level of anxiety. And so you look and here's what I don't want. This drives me crazy too, because a lot of agents will be like, well, I'm an Enneagram 8 or I'm a this or that. I'm like, shut up with that. Like, I don't care if you're like, I'm an 8, so I'm just going to be very challenging. I'm like, no, you're just being a jerk.
Yeah.
That doesn't give you, some people use their personality profile as an excuse to like, be an unpleasant person. Look,
yeah. I mean, you try to be the voice of reason and you try for as long as you can. And if you're not getting anywhere, that's where I get a little like, all right, this is going to stop now.
Yeah. Stay cool and calm, and you got to get above it, right? You're right. You want to be solution oriented. You want to be calm and go, okay, what do we need to do to work through this problem? So, don't be a drama queen. Don't be a drama king. Stay above it. Stay cool, stay calm. And you have to be that voice of reason in the transaction.
The kind of the weird thing here is that usually that's what those type of people need, is someone who's cool and calm and voice of reason. It balances each other out. So even though that kind of person really gets on my nerves, they need a person with my personality type that's a little more, non-emotional to balance things out.
I agree.
And it's just funny that you get paired up with the polar opposite of you.
Yeah, exactly.
is what works per se. But
yep. All right. Number 6, the FBI negotiator. This is someone who's read Chris Voss's The Never Split the Difference, then they think that they're now an expert on negotiation. And that person always, it's like, I respect that you read the book and you've done some research and but I think real estate negotiation is really dependent upon the market. I mean, in a lot of situations, like especially when you're getting into multiple offers, you can throw away that Chris Voss stuff out the window.
Yeah.
You're really not negotiating, you're trying to win. And so in a lot of the transactions, it's just very market specific. It's very price point specific. And so you have to kind of be a chameleon depending on what the situation calls for, but, just make sure that you're not over negotiating something, because once you get in really about $5,000 to $10,000, the price considerations are negligible in terms of how that's going to play out for your client, right? $10,000 is going to make a very small difference on a monthly payment. And it's really not, it's going to make a very small difference in the long run. In 5 years, that $10,000 is pretty negligible.
Yep.
And so,
this is the one I had to pay attention to for myself, because I like to negotiate. So,
you do?
Yeah.
Well, like, what do you mean? Are you the FBI negotiator?
I wouldn't put, kind of like what you said about the hot mess. Like, you have those tendencies.
Sure.
I don't think I am an FBI negotiator or anything, like that. But I like negotiation, and I like working on behalf of my clients to get the best possible deal. So I can find myself negotiating too much when I can just, I have to sometimes be self-aware and be like, all right, we're good.
Yeah. I think what I have found in this market specifically, because, I kind of grew up in a market that was heavy on negotiation. I'm used to a lot more back and forth. And a lot of agents now are not used to that. And so they can get worn down with that back and forth. And I would say this market requires more negotiation than especially like the COVID and post-COVID market, which it was like you just had to get in and get a house.
Well, yeah, but it's just self-awareness. You just have to know when it's good enough.
But I just find it's like, agents now get a little more worn down. So I can maybe have that tendency, but my game is always like, look, keep everyone in play.
Yeah.
Keep moving it forward.
No, I do believe that. Yeah. But I'm also the one that likes to go negotiate for cars. Like, I would do it for a family.
I wouldn't have a problem
I just
with
like
that.
it. It's just fun.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Number 7. This is the big timer, or the mom, dad in the transaction, right? Mom or dad in the transaction.
Can't deal with these.
This is like the person that's always trying, like maybe they've been in the business for a while, or they just, I'm a top producer person, and they're always trying to teach the agent, what to do. And so they think that they're more important than they are, or that they're busier than they are. If you are this person, or if you have these tendencies, just be approachable and be humble, right? Treat the person on the other side of the transaction as a human being. You're going to get a lot further than trying to big time them, because you're just going to come off as a D-bag. And so just treat people well, and have some consideration from the other side, even if they don't have your level of experience, even if they haven't been doing this as long as you, that you want to treat them as an equal, no matter what. Yeah. I find.
Yeah, you have to.
Even if it's a new agent, right? The more you treat them as an equal, the further you're going to get.
Yeah, you have to.
And really, as for your client, the deal, your job is to sell the house for your clients, not to prove to everybody that you're a big deal.
Right.
Okay. Number 8, the rookie who's pretending not to be a rookie.
There is some sense of, you do need to fake it until you make it, but I think this can be overdone big time.
Well, I always tell people, if you're brand new, it's better to tell the agent, be like, hey,
yep,
100%. I'm brand new in this transaction. I'm working with a great mentor. I just wanted to be respectful of you.
Yeah.
Want to say, here's who I'm working with. They've been doing this business a long time. They're in every piece of this. But I might not have the terms right.
Yeah.
And I might,
you'll get a ton more respect that way.
Yeah. You will get a lot more respect.
Self-awareness
is
huge. It garners respect.
Well, the other thing is, I think from the other side, they're going to be that much more willing to help you.
Absolutely.
Right. If you miss something, or if something's, because you can't, there's no way they're not going to know.
Well, and it lowers their defenses too. Because if I have somebody who's coming at me and saying like crazy things that are obviously inaccurate, I've sniffed out that they're new to this, and they continue down this path of like being adamant that they're right. Of course, there's going to be some friction. Whereas if they had come to me in the beginning and say, hey, I'm new, but I'm working with the Agent Bridge, and I'm going to be an amazing agent soon, then there's a lot more respect.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Number 9, which you could put this in with a number 7, but I guess the know-it-all, and this is the person who always is repeating how long they've been doing it.
I've been doing this for 30 years.
I've been doing this for 30 years. 30 to 40 transactions a year for 30 years. Okay.
And then you look them up and they did like 8 since 2015.
Don't you always, I always find, like, if somebody does that, I always go look them up. I'm like, you've been doing this for 30 years, but you sold 5 houses last year. Like, you're not that big of a deal. So yeah, one of the problems with being this person is you will get, if you don't stay humble, if you don't stay teachable, coachable, you're going to get left behind. Because I can tell you, even in I'm doing it right now, the 16 years I've been in this business, even in the 16 years I've been, there is so much that has changed.
Yeah.
And so much that has changed in the past year. Every market brings a lesson. Every new technology has to be figured out. How people, like, one of the things that's completely changed from now, or from when I first started to now, is we used to have all the information. So if you wanted information on properties that were coming on the market, you either had to drive neighborhoods or you had to call an agent.
Yep.
Well, that changed, because now everybody has the information. And so if I'm trying to wear that old hat, that's not going to go well. The other thing that agents used to do when I first came into it is they used to come in and they would only show their listings to a new buyer.
Oh, yeah.
Which used to drive me crazy. That's changed. So that was an example of
far less agents, though, so they had more listings. It was still a different time.
Different time. So just if you've been doing this a long time, great. But guess what? You've got a great experience, but make sure you stay humble, stay teachable, stay coachable. Okay. You want to take the next one?
The worrier.
Yeah.
These are funny because, how many times have you already put the commission in your bank account and you win and lose the commission like 4 more times during the deal? Yes. Oh, the inspection went bad. I don't think we're going to be able to make this. I lost $10,000. Oh, wait, we're back on. I got $10,000 more dollars.
It's just up and down, up and down.
That happens so much. And honestly, pretty much every agent is in this bucket. Sure. Every agent that doesn't have a pipeline of like 6 to 12 deals every month thinks about every deal and when that commission's going to hit and all of these things. So every agent has the tendency to win and lose commission throughout the deal. You have to remain level-headed.
Yeah.
That leads to bad decision making. So when you win and lose the commission every time you hit a contingency point, it leads to bad decisions. You have to stay level-headed. Don't worry about it and focus on solutions like we talked about earlier.
Yeah. I found, really earlier in my career, of course, you just have that anxiety because you really need things to close.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you basically, but at some point, like the anxiety of having, even multiple houses under contract and counting the commission and needing this for this, and I got to pay my taxes and, all of these things, right, that are going to cause stress and anxiety. Finally, I started having to develop some tools, right? Or I was like, this is going to, take me to an early grave. I mean, real estate's a stressful business.
Yeah.
It can be an incredibly stressful business. So finally, I had a counselor that told me, he's like, hey, before you make decisions, like wait like 30 minutes to an hour before responding. Let the information settle and let your brain work on the solution. And so there was that part of it. I also learned how to do breath work and learning how to do some box breathing and things like that. That would kind of get my heart rate a little bit lower. And so I started being able to respond more quickly. But the thing that I think was the crossover is I realized over time, after about 10 years, I'm like, 90% of these deals are going to close.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always have to be me that's solving the problem.
Right.
You have a whole team of people that is working to solve the problem that has just as much invested as you do. So there's an agent on the other side. There's a lender that wants to get this closed. Like all these parties, and there's buyer and a seller that wants this to close. They want to move.
Yeah.
And so there's multiple people that are going to work to pull this thing across the finish line. So it doesn't always have to be I don't have to control every aspect.
This is the same reason though why we tell clients tell agents not to call their clients with a problem without a couple different solutions that you've already thought through. Like you said, take some time, let it settle, think through some possible solutions. There's going to be a clear one at some point, a clear one that you should move forward with. And, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you go back to the drawing table.
And have a friend that you can vent to, right?
Yep.
That you can call and just be like, dude, you're not going to believe what happened. And a mentor that you can help you solve the problem. Because you'd be surprised at we get calls all the time for people that need solutions to real estate problems. And it's like just having, and we're able to solve it pretty quickly just because we've been through them.
Well, and most of the time they probably know what to do. They're just nervous.
But just have somebody that you can reach out to, vent to, and help you sort of troubleshoot with. Okay. All right. So, again, in any of these, like I said, you probably fit in somewhere, but take the lessons from them, be a great agent, and continue to improve on your skill set as you go. You guys have a great week. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.